Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mbak Fatima, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you today? How is life?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm busy and fine, mashallah. So, okay, good. Uh, you are going to present your research paper presentation
Yes.
today, and to begin with, let's express our gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, yeah, that we are now healthy and happy, inshallah. And I think this going to be one of the most important time and moment in your lifetime as a student, because this is the day, that you are going to present your research paper. Yeah, I am
Yes.
Fitri Kurniawan, Mbak Fatima. I hope you are just fine, and I think you look fine. Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
think you feel nervous or not?
A little bit nervous.
I don't see that. You sounds good, yeah. So I'm Fitri Kurniawan. Today, I'm going to be your examiner for your research paper presentation. And let me read the details of your research paper before we start, yeah. Language style reflected in a Walk to Remember novel by Nicholas Sparks, 1999. Stylistic approach. Wow, interesting. The main supervisor is Pak Titis Setiabudi, ya. Okay,
Yes.
I'm glad to be with you today, Mbak Fatima.
Yes.
But before we start, I think you already know the housekeeping, the rules, the rundown of the examination. But I would like to give you a short explanation, yeah, before we start. Number one, there will be a monologue. As you know, you will be given a time to present. How many slides for today, Mbak Fatima?
13 slides.
13. Okay, I think that's good, yeah. 13 is good, yeah. And then you will be just having the second and the last and the main section of today's examination, which is questions and answers. I'll give you a set of questions, all or everything's about your research paper, and then you will have your time to answer, yeah. And that's it. So, before we start, I need to have such a little warming up before that. I think we need to talk a little about your background, Mbak Fatima.
Mhm.
How long have you finished this research paper?
I start to compile my research paper in March.
What do you mean March? March this year?
Yes, this year.
Okay, so March, April,
March.
May,
April.
June, July. How many months?
5.
Okay, 5 months. So do you think 5 months is long time, or just fine because you expect to be like 5 months or
Between
not?
in long and short.
What do you mean long and short?
Not too long, but not too short.
Yeah, 5 months is ideal, by the way. And yeah, looking at your topic, I think 5 months, and looking at our situation back in 2 months and 3 months and 5 months and years, I think and with all those challenges, I think 5 months is ideal. Yeah, no problem, Fatima. Okay, and do you feel happy that you finished today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm so happy.
You should be happy, yeah. Okay, so oh yeah, next questions before we really give you a presentation. Have you joined my class before? Have you been to my class before, like
Yes,
among
in in
semester before? What is
in
it?
semester 2 and semester 3.
Really, what class,
Yes.
what do you remember from my class?
Public speaking and argumentative speaking.
Wow, it's all about speaking, yeah. Okay,
Yes.
and I can see your speaking skill is massively progressive, yeah. You got something to move on then. Very nice. Okay, but Fatima, I think you're ready. I think everything is all set, and I'm waiting. I'm very very interested in and looking forward to hearing your presentations. Yeah, I wish you all the best, but Fatima, you can open and start the presentation now. Time is yours, Mbak Fatima.
Okay. Thank you for Mr. Fitri. So I will start my presentation here with the title Language Style Reflected in a Walk to Remember novel by Nicholas Sparks 1999 using stylistic approach. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Fatima, my student number 149, and my supervisor is Titis Setiabudi, SSMM. In my presentation here, I will discuss about this introduction, literature review, research method, finding and discussion, and the last one is conclusion. In introduction, for background study, in everyday life, there are so many uses of style. Style is a part of life that ranging from lifestyle, learning style, speaking style, or language style. Language style includes diction or word choice, sentence structure, or figure of speech used by writer or speaker in literary work. The language of each speaker is various because each speaker has a different style of language in expressing their meaning. Is related with the opinion by Keraf in 2007. He said that language style can be seen from two different point of view. That's in terms of non-language and in terms of language. In terms of non-language, style can be categorized based on author, time, place, a problem, purpose, and target. Meanwhile, in terms of language, the language is categorized based on word choice, tone choice, sentence structure, and delivery of sentence. And from that explanation above, with so many types of language style, we can make all expression that seem abstract to be more concrete and can be enjoyed and absorbed. Therefore, the researchers and me, I'm interested in conducting a research entitled Language Style Reflected in Walk to Remember, novel by Nicholas Sparks, 1999, using stylistic approach. So next in the next slide is the research question. I compiled three research questions here. The first is what are the types of language style used by the main character in a Walk to Remember novel. The second is what are the function of language style. And then the third one is how are the language style used by the main character. And then the objective of the study here is to analyze the type of language style, and then to analyze the function of language style, and to describe the language style used by the main character. And then the benefits of these studies here, there are two. As theoretical benefits, this study can be used to enrich theory and give contribution of knowledge in analyzing the novel of A Walk to Remember. And then as practically, this study are useful for the next researchers where they can use this research as a reference to analyze the novel. Next here is the literature review. In the literary review, in my research paper, there are 12 previous studies, but in my slide, I will put two previous studies here. The first is from Rizky, Alfiana, and Titi Setiabudi, entitled Motivation Reflected in a Walk to Remember novel by Nicholas Sparks, 1999, an individual psychological study. The result found the type of motivation used was intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, and there were 6 individual psychological of London. That's a fictional finalist and variety feeling, striving for superiority, style of life, social interest, and creative power. That's in addition, the way motivation delineated in the novel through some elements such as the characterization, plot, and setting. And the next is from Jamal Errol with study entitled Language Style Used in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. The study focused on the use of language style in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child novel. There were 5 types found in this novel, such as frozen, formal, consultative, casual, and intimate style. On the other side, the researchers also reveal social factor influence the using of language style here. So next, in this underlying theory, I put 3 here, the notion of language style. It is according to Keraf in Murtono book in 2010. Language style is a way of expressing thought through a language in a unique way, shows the soul and personality of the writer or speaker. And then next is the notion of stylistic. According to Tulali in 2000, he said the stylistic in general talk about the special use of language, which is the hallmark of a writer, literary genre, or also deviation from everyday language, from normal and then standard language. And the next one is the novel. Novel is a story that plays in the world of people and things that surround us. It's not deep, describe more a single moment of person's life, and then it's more about an episode. It's according to Jasi Nurgiantoro, 2015. Next, this is my research method. In my research method, I compiled five research method here. There are types of study. In my type of study here, I use qualitative research because it targeted on the context of analysis and interpretation of written language. And the next one is type of data and data search. In the primary data search, I use a Walk to Remember novel as primary data search, and the secondary data search I use journal and article that relate with my topic in my research paper. And then dictionary. I really need dictionary to search about the word or something that I didn't know the meaning or the translate. And then in the object of study, there are material object and formal object. In material object, I use Walk to Remember novel, and then informal object, I use will discuss about the language style. And then the method of collecting data. In the method of collecting data, I use two part here is reading full of the novel and then not taking. But the step here, I have 4 steps to collect my data. The first is I read the full novel to understand the whole story, and then I determine the main characters here. In my research paper, I use Landon Carter as the main character because he dominates the whole story and then he always involved in it. And the third step here is underlining the language style. And the last one is I classify the language style to each categories. Okay, next is the technique of analyzing data. In the technique of analyzing data, I use two parts here. After I collect the data and then I analyze in 2 parts. That's I analyze the types first here. In analyze here, I have to pay attention to who Landon speaking and the reason why he's speaking the language style here. And after I know the types and I analyze the type, and then I evaluate the data by interpreting the meaning. Next, in finding and discussion. In finding and discussion, there are 3 types of language style, function of the types, and then the last one is the use of language style. In types of language style, I found there are 4 types in the novel. First is frozen style, and then consultative style, casual style, and intimate style. In frozen style, I found 1 style. In consultative, I found 13 style. In casual, I found 81 style, and then in intimate style, I found 28 style. So it's total, it will be 123 uses of language style. Next is the function of the language style. In the function of language style, I use 5 samples for each type, but in my presentation here, I will put 1 of them. First is frozen style here. In the data here, it shows that I'm not commanding you, but I want to test the sincerity of your love by comparing it to the eagerness of others. From the data above, the researcher found a frozen style because it is a Bible quote spoken by the main character Landon, and the function of language style above as an answer to Landon's question and that. Next is the consultative style. And the consultative style, for the sample of the data here, from the data above, it is found that the consultative style is due to the relationship that started well but still showed politeness. Consultative style has the function as an affirmation of Landon's view of the time to talk to Jamie's father. And next is about casual style. In casual style, this is the example, and the explanation here from the data above. Casual style is found in the conversation that takes place between Landon and Jamie, which is set in Jamie's front house. The language style functioned as an impression of Landon's arrival to our Jamie to join him at the dance, especially at the homecoming party. And then In the last one is the intimate style. This explains that language style is included in the intimate style because there is a statement of application. The function of language style is to strengthen the message of happiness between Landon and Jamie. And at this conversation, the reader is made happy and touched by Landon's expression that he wants to marry her even though she is dying. And the last finding here, how language style used. In a frozen style, the language used is, I focus on the situation of the use of the language style here. The situation described at the time was a feeling of happiness and emotion because he thought that God had answered the question he had always been thinking about. And the next one is the consultative style. The situation described, Landon came to the office in a church to see Jamie's father for a moment. And at the moment, Landon saw Jamie's father look more tired than usual, and he thought that Jamie's father wasn't feeling well. So he asked to make sure Hagbert had time on his busy schedule. And next is the casual style. In the casual style, the situation is about Landon made small talk about the weather, and Jamie asked him why he had come to his house. And Landon, who heard that, then realized and cleared his throat and asked in a doubtful tone if Jamie would come to the dance with someone. He asked to see if Jamie had a partner to go to the party. If not, then he would take her. And the last one is the intimate style. When Jamie was fought cancer, Landon tried to fulfill Jamie's wish one by one. One of them was getting married. Jamie was really want to get married, and Landon remembered that the time when they were outside Mr. Jansky, that is place. Then he realized that Jamie had answered the question he would been searching for. Then, with a gentle smile and holding each other's hand, Landon took a deep breath and proposed Jamie to be his wife. So the last one is the conclusion here. So in the conclusion here, the result obtained 123 use of language style in total work, with 4 types of language style, including 1 frozen style, 13 consultative style, 81 casual style, and 28 intimate style. And then the function of frozen style here is as an answer of Landon's question and does, and the function of consultative style is to reinforce the impression of his arrival, to convince and prepare to be asked, and also to reinforce of the main character reason as an expression of surprise and as an affirmation. And casual style has a function as a form of distract, resignation, impression, emphasis, and illustration. And then the function of intimate style above is to strengthen the impression of an invitation, as an confidence, as a support, as an amplifier of love and affection, and to strengthen the message of happiness. And the last one is the use of language style that focus on the situation. Here, where the main character are the moment when it's touched, tense, surprised, awkward, relaxed, happy, and sad. So I think that's all for my presentation here. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think we should give applause for the presentation. Thank you, Mbak Fatima. Is that the way I should call you, Mbak Fatima?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. That was, I think, is very comprehensive presentation. And let's get to the second session, which is the main, of today's research paper exam. Mbak Fatima,
Yes.
I should ask you this, and I think you should already expect these questions because it's always be in the first list for the examiner to ask. Yeah, can you tell me how in the world you get this title? Like,
Okay. As basically, I know that language is a tool of communication about people, ideas, opinions, thought, feeling, emotion, and etc.
Yeah.
So it means that language style is expressed about people mind through distinctive language.
It is.
And then I have see in this era that the development of language style has improved, and this made me decide how about the language style in the novel, especially in the old novel. How many types of on the old novel, and then what is the function of the language style here. And then the next reason is why I choose this novel as my research object, because this is one of the most famous novel at that time and is still being used today for research purposes.
Okay, so so do you think it was the famous novel? So, but I still don't know why do you decide this, because I think, do you read classic, or just tell me the personal story of behind how you met this
Uh,
Walk to Remember, because I have it in my, you can see it, it's one of my collection there, and I love classic, and I don't I mean for by number is actually is not very popular by now. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about generation. Let me know how do you met the novel.
I met the novel, especially when I watched the movie, sir.
Also, it was actually in the movie version. Yeah.
Yes. So during the pandemic situation in
Yeah, yeah.
2021, so I have a lot of
Movie time.
movie to watch, and then a Walk to Remember movie is one of the list here.
Mm.
So before I watch the movie, I usually search about the apa the synopsis,
The
and
synopsis, I
also
see.
yes, the synopsis, and then the genre, or yeah,
Okay.
to know the movie. So after I searched the movie, and then I found that this movie is adapted from the novel
Mm.
at that time, and I have searched that it said this is one of popular novel at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah, I'm so curious how about the novel gitu, and how about this popular novel, is this so good to the
And how was
storyline.
it? And finally, you go and watch the movie, and how was the movie
I
compared to
like
the
the
novel?
movie, but I love more the novel,
Why?
because the novel I can enjoy when I read the novel, and then I watch the movie, because I think the characters that play the movie here is less expression.
I know.
Yeah, less expression, and that's make me cannot enjoy. So I think, how can I compile my research paper if I couldn't enjoy the movie? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's made me decide to
Makes
analyze this.
sense, makes sense. And I think, yeah, I think I will absolutely agree with you. The page with a writing is provoke more imagination, and it's more interesting than the movie itself, because limited. Yeah, okay, okay. I think you answer my questions. So let's go to the next questions, yeah, Fatima. Uh, but Fatima, can you show me the finding? It's very interesting finding. Yeah, like you got I think it was in the last slides, if you want it.
Oh
I
wait,
think um, there is one particular
here.
figure that I want you to explain. This frozen style. You got only one frozen style in language
Yes.
style. So why do you still put that into your data? Even the formal style, no data, but why? Why not
uh
just take it out and remove it? Why?
because formal style, I cannot find the formal style
Mm,
in this novel. Most of them is consultative style.
okay.
At first I was so confused. Is it formal or consultative style? But after I searched the definition and the
Mm.
differences between formal and consultative style, and then yeah, there is no formal style in this novel, sir.
So tell me now. I don't know much about it. Tell me now briefly, and in as humble, as simple as possible sentence between formal style definition and
Oh,
what is the difference actually?
the definition,
Yeah,
or
yeah, whatever the category, or what makes it different. This is formal
oh, okay,
style.
okay.
This is consultative, but in an
Uh,
easiest ways possible. Yeah.
oh, okay. So frozen style, it is the most formal style
Okay.
in language. So it's usually used in some situation, like in this Bible and
Okay.
Quran. Yes. So and
Define.
then the formal style. The
Okay.
formal style here is like the frozen style, but the pattern and the rule in a standard, not the most formal gitu loh. And then it's usually found in textbook,
Okay.
scientific work, and then in speech.
All
And
right.
also, yeah, and consultative style is the level between formal and casual style. So
Okay.
this is operational style,
Mm.
consultative style here. It's usually used when talking to the people who older than us, like when I talk to Mr. Fitri.
Oh, are you using now consultative style or
Uh,
formal style?
when I ask about the information, or maybe I have the necessary to be asked, then I use consultative style
Mm.
to order people.
Okay.
And then in casual style is the informal style here. So it's usually talking with friends and also with family, and yeah, and etc. And then for the intimate style, here is usually talking to the close to people who have the close relationship, such
Mm.
as the family member and also the close friends, or someone special in our life.
Okay. I think you give me a very clear explanation, and I'm happy that you understand what you're writing. Yeah, thank you. That is actually impressive. Yeah. Well, now I'm talking in a bigger frame now. Yeah, I think you can execute well. Your writing is very well. I think your supervisor should be proud of you. But then let's talk about what is actually beyond this. You have how many months did you finish this? Like 6 to 5
Five.
5 months. 5 months. Yeah, and I think it wasn't. I don't think it must be not an easy 5 months, right? Because there must be a lot of hard work in there. But out of this 123 findings, what do you think it may brings, in terms of benefits or advantages? What can we learn, or what can we actually use out of this? So so what? So tell me what actually the implication of this finding, at least in your maybe from your personal view, or maybe from your view as a researcher. For example, like what will I what have you learned, or what will we learn from this finding?
Oh, okay. So from these findings
Mm-hmm.
here, I can be is as theoretical implication, and then uh, practical
Okay.
implication. So in theoretical implication, it can be used as reference about literary studies,
Of
such as
course.
the analysis of the novel, which can be as reference for people to analyze this novel. And then as practically, it can be used as stylistic studies
Mm.
for people who want to analyze, such as the the novel,
Mm-hmm.
which is sorry sirs such as when the students can analyze and understand about the novel or related stories that can be contextually with their everyday life. So I think in education, the students enables to understand and then analyze about this novel.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Fatima. Now look at that data now, on the screen, right? So, do you think this means something else? Like, why we got too many casual finding there? We got 81 findings on casual style. We got 28 intimate styles. What is this means in general? Is there any other meanings for these numbers? like wow, only one frozen style, and zero formal style, 13 consultative style.
Yes, because at this when I compiled my research paper, I have um, 3 times to reading the full novel to find the data, and then I found that casual styles is the most dominant style
Mm-hmm.
used by Landon Carter's here as the main
Okay.
character, because she more talked to her friends and also with Jamie, but
Mm-hmm.
when they were not close, before they were not close.
Mm-hmm.
So before they were not close, they use casual style, but
Okay.
when they have a close relationship, so it's include in intimate style.
Okay.
And then in consultative style, most of style here and the conversation here, Landon said to the Jamie's father, Hagbard. So yeah, most of the dialogue here, the sentence here is using by Landon's when talk to Jamie's father.
Mm-hmm.
And in frozen style is from the Bible quotes that read by Landon from Jamie's Bible. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
found that.
Okay, so if I may conclude that this kind of style is actually explain to whom and to what level people are having a relationship, isn't it? So
Yes.
it's like why are there too many casual style, because I think the interaction and the level of relationship is in a casual relationship, right? So I think this is interesting. Uh, have you ever think about your relationship, yeah, with your language style as a student? Now I'm talking about you as a student, Fatima.
Mm-hmm.
From day one as a student of Department of English Education until now, almost day last, yeah, not yet, but you're going to. What do you think the most dominant style that you think you use? I'm talking about you.
Uh, Casual style, sir.
Okay, can you explain why?
Because in when I talk to my friends, also the people I met,
Mm.
I I I I prefer to use casual style.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the reason most the dominant style here is
Even
casual.
with maybe some of your lecturers are actual casual.
Oh no, no, no. For the lecturer, I still use consultative
No, no,
style.
I'm asking you. Do you think there was, or there were, or
Mm-hmm.
there are, or there is lecturers that, according to your experience, use casual style like to the students when they communicate?
Mm, for the lecture,
Yeah, as far as you can remember, do you think there is one that using
yes,
casual
uh,
style?
not the lecture, but the teacher.
The teachers. So you
Yes.
said no one, no lecturers using casual style with students.
I think not yet, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so let's talk about the teachers. So who's the teachers?
That's from KKN program
Ah, yeah.
at
Mm,
this from
okay.
the school Gonilan here.
Mm-hmm. What
Yes.
teacher is, what is it, what is she teaching?
Uh, she teach uh all all all
All subjects.
all lesson for grade 5 for grade in
Okay.
FDN Gonilan. So yeah,
Okay.
we
Very interesting. So I think I can see it's very, I'm confident to say that I think your writing is as or not, if I'm not mistaken, I think is better or even as good as your writing. Your presentation is as good as your writing. I think out of 5 questions I gave you, I think you can go along and pretty well. And I think I like to say that now before you, not until the end. So I think I still have one questions to go and one another's, out of the list topics, because I always ask that will be the last. So but I still have one last. So if you think the 5 month was not easy, yeah, and it means something, right? If you say it wasn't a 5 month easy process, so could you tell me one of the not easiest part of the process? I don't know. Is it technical? I don't know. Personal or tell me one.
Uh, when I compiled my research paper in research question
Yeah.
for number three, I have so struggle at that time,
Why?
and because I I couldn't found the formula or the discussion that I will write later in chapter four.
Okay.
So yeah, I couldn't find how
And that's
about.
the main chapter, by the way.
Sorry, sir.
And that's the main chapter, by the way.
Yes. So
So
yeah, at
what
the time
happened then?
I have so struggle here, but after I consult for some time with Mr. Titis, and then he gave me advice which I
Yeah.
currently use in my research paper. So the research paper for number three is the solution from Pak Titis.
Okay. So,
Yes.
all right. Do you think you still have another not easiest experience or a challenge throughout the process, or that's the only one?
I think that's only the struggle for
Mm.
my research paper when I writing my research paper.
So what about the consultation itself? Was it actually uh, the things going as you really want it to be? Like, okay, I like
Uh,
this. Like 1 month, I don't know how many times in a week. But
right. Okay. At first, I have doing a consult in online
mm,
consultation for about 4 times in at the first time, but after since June since June, I will doing my offline consultation, and I can finish it in July, in August, in August, in August. So actually, at the first time is difficult because yeah, as I told you before, compiled my research paper in the research question was very struggle for me. But yeah, after I finish the research paper, the research question, and then I can continue with my discussion in chapter four, and Alhamdulillah, I had no obstacle in until the final chapter.
happy ending, yeah. Okay, good. Well, I almost forgot my questions. So if there's one big lesson, I'm talking about lesson for you. I don't know, it is for as personally or life in general. What do you think the lesson you got from this long five, not so long but not so short writing process? What did you learn for yourself?
Um, the lesson is I want to be the best of me,
Mm.
especially when I writing something like this research paper. I think
Mm.
this research paper is one of the best writing for
Yeah.
me,
Good.
and yeah, and yeah, I think without also the motivation from my friends and also from my family, I think yeah, that's the point. Without the motivation and then the support from people, I think my life was not going well.
Okay. I'm glad you shared that because your friend, if you don't mind, if I share this, of course we learn from that. Like, you cannot do it by yourself. At least somebody, not as a personal, but in the form of spirit and motivation, is actually crucial and important. But Fatima, I think that's it for today exam. I think I think you will be happy with the result because I think you can see our conversation running well, and I think you understand what you're writing, and that most importantly, you learn something out of this process. But Fatima, I never let everybody go into my exams time without this last question. Not about the topics or research. It's about your futures. Do you want to be a teacher? Honestly, if you graduated, honestly.
uh, okay. Actually, at this time, I am a teacher in online platform.
Oh, really? Oh, you're teachers? Can you tell
Yes,
me where, or what platform? If you don't mind, tell me the name of the platform.
Kina for Kids. That's from
Kina.
Vietnam platform.
So you work for Kina.
Yes,
So what do you
Kina for
do?
Kids.
What do you do there? Wow, interesting. What do you do?
I teach like mathematics, the phonics, and then the lesson for kids like in elementary school and then junior and adult.
Oh, so wow. So how long have you been doing that one?
Oh, I still new here,
Okay.
under 1 month.
Good. But I think that's for yes, yeah.
Yes,
So, thank you, Mbak Fatima. I'm glad I joined the exam board today. Ideally, it should be more than one at least, but I think for some reason we don't do that today. We don't have it, but I think I wish you all the best, Mbak Fatima. Yeah. Now I'll give it
yes,
back to you. Please close the presentation, and I will close the overall exam. Please, you can say something to close the presentation, right? Yeah.
yes. Thank you, sir, for your time and your honorable for my presentation here. Thank you so much, and I hope I can see you in next time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mbak Fatima. All the best, yeah. Please don't leave because I'm still recording after this, yeah. Thank you. That's it for today's exam. And see you when I see you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.
Waalaikumsalam.
Tak close dulu ya. Stop.